Hello and welcome to a Let's Play of Warhammer Dawn of War Dark Crusade. It's an expansion to Dawn of War 1, although it's an independent game and it differs from the vanilla core game in that it's a bit of a different take on things. It reminds me more of a game like Dune 2 than Dawn of War, in that it's a combination of a strategic world map and real-time strategy combat map. Either way, might as well get to it. New campaign, normal difficulty.
The planet Cronus, beset on all sides by the tides of war, this once quiet colony became a savage battlefield. 7 armies clashed on this one world, each refusing to back down, each convinced it was in the right. From beneath the sands of Cronus' central desert came the Necrons, ancient machines bent on eradicating all life. But another evil already had its eyes on the planet. From the depths of the warp, the demonic forces of chaos arrived to enforce their claim. To oppose these fearsome powers, the planet's rulers in the DoW Empire sent their elite soldiers and sophisticated battlesuits into the fray. From the mighty Imperium of Man came the Imperial Guard, there to secure Cronus for the glory of the God Emperor. Like a green tide, the Ork horde descended on Cronus, caring little for others' claims and sowing destruction in its wake. The Eldar, ancient enemies of the Necrons, emerged from their webway to pursue their own agenda on Cronus. And last came the Space Marines, finest and most uncompromising of the Imperium's soldiers. Seeing a world beset by aliens and heretics, they undertook a great purge. A dark crusade had begun. It could only end with the total victory of one of these factions, and the total defeat of all others.
Choose a faction. I'm gonna go with the Orks. You are Warlord Gorgut's Id Hunter, and this planet is another prize for your war. Yumis and Necrons and Chaos Boys are fighting over this world, but no one is tougher or meaner than an Ork, and no Ork is tougher or meaner than you. Call up your hundreds of boys and crush all the others under your boots.
Driven from Lorne 5, the Ork war boss Gorgut's headhunter managed to return as a greater threat still during the Dark Crusade. He formed a new warband from Ork freebooters and pirates, and others pushed out of the Lorne system, and set about raiding worlds on the outskirts of the DoW Empire, gaining resources along the way. When Cronus sent out desperate calls for help against the Necrons, Gorguts sent his forces to strike at a vulnerable target. Gorgut's war fleet dropped out of the warp only to find Imperial and DoW fleets squaring off above Cronus. The Orks lost several ships, but the clashing fleets were unable to repel the large number of rocks Gorguts threw into the atmosphere. These massive landing ships, made from converted asteroids, smashed into the Green Coast and unloaded their bands of Ork invaders. There, Gorguts brought the local feral Orks to heel and set about his conquest. The war had come to Cronus.
This is the strategic map. It's basically a planetary surface divided into regions, and each
single-player campaign for Dawn of
each has their own unique bonuses for controlling it. Is there a better way to... Yeah, this better shows the control areas. We only have one region, and there's nothing good about it. units are stronghold. Everyone else has at least a couple of extra regions. DoW and some of these have 2 to 3 extra regions. Some of them have special bonuses. Some of them have an honor guard unit. Basically, with your commander, you can move a certain amount of typical troops. They're gonna be with you at the start of the new mission, so if you have enough of them, you might be able to even annihilate the enemy with what you have there, depending on the map. It's basically divided between sort of your typical skirmish map that doesn't really have much of a point to it. That's more or less a multiplayer map, and then more story-driven missions. Usually, strongholds are story-driven missions, but there are other sites like I think these, where you get a bonus for your for the army instead of an extra unit. There's usually a associated mission with that, so it might not be more than a multiplayer map, but it might have another objective instead of just killing an enemy. Like I think Fury, that allows you to act twice during your turn on the strategic map. It has basically a kill count, so whichever side reaches that kill count first will win the mission. By the way, there's also war gear. Certain feats allow us to upgrade our commander, so if you get a lot of upgrades, you basically have a very, very respectable unit in your commander. I don't think the orc boss is particularly good. I think it's fairly durable and has good melee when it's upgraded, but overall there's nothing particularly special about it comparing to the other commander units. Bigger claws, bigger guns, horns, iron gob, mega heavy armor, faster legs. Basically paint your leg armor red and it increases your movement speed. Skull pikes and a boss pole. Achievements that unlock these are like win a certain number of offensive missions or defensive missions, get a 3-to-1 kill death ratio, get 2,000 kills, get 5,000 kills, defeat, basically annihilate 3 factions from the map, that sort of thing. So it's not something you really have to think about. You're probably going to get like 8 to 10 of them, no matter how you really play. So it's not something we have to basically really think about, meaning that we don't want to keep someone alive just to farm kills out of it, because we're gonna reach the 5,000 kills very likely anyway, no matter what we do. Choice to make: either attack the DoW or try to attack the Chaos. I'm not sure which one would be the best. Chaos might be easier. Yeah, girls code Chaos. One thing about the map regions is that I actually have never defended a stronghold, so I don't know what this is if someone else attacks here. However, these other regions, they're persistent, so every time some fight happens on this map, it's going to be the same exact map. And importantly, things you have built there on the previous mission are still there. So if you take your time and build your base and take full control of the region, and every time you have to defend it, it's very trivial for you to drive out the invaders. I'm just mentioning that because sometimes it might be worthwhile for us to do that. For example here, if we take this, the DoW is in a constant position to attack. The reason I don't want to take it is that it's next to their stronghold. And it means if it attacks from this position, it's going to be a fairly demanding fight for us. So if we would take this region, we would have to fortify it pretty well before we move on to something else, or alternatively attack the Tau stronghold immediately. I don't want to do that because the stronghold missions tend to be... they're not necessarily harder. In some ways they can be easier because they're storyline missions. You start with a very small army against an enemy that controls the entire map. If he wanted to wipe you out, he could very trivially. So it's in that sense, it's easier than the skirmish maps. However, he might still throw a lot of enemies your way right from the start. So you would like to have some honor guard units or something to allow you to make through the early parts. So I don't want to attack the stronghold the first thing. I'd like to have at least a couple of honor guards units, and with if we go after chaos, we can have at least a couple before we have to attack the stronghold. Rayon Flatlands. I don't particularly want to stretch out the skirmish missions, so I'd like to finish them as quickly as possible.
Please, no more kicking.
I haven't played this or really any other real-time strategy games in a while, so
Which way?
please forgive me if I suck balls pretty badly. The game isn't that difficult on normal difficulty, so it shouldn't cause trouble. It's just
Build it right up for you.
it might take quite a bit of time to basically do anything.
Oh, hey, boss.
And I don't want to pretend I'm some kind of a great player anyway. Just that I might suck even more than normal.
Alright. Yes,
It's basically a map that is divided into two by a ruler. So if we hold up at least this spot, we can probably build up just fine on our own. At the same time, I don't want to hold up too long. Everything we need to do is tied to the Ork population. Every time we need to build wall banners to increase the population, so population control is basically key to our survival. Even if I build some kind of unit production, I don't think I can get much done without the war banners. Ork buildings, I think, have pretty much every one of them has some kind of a machine gun turret on it. So that's why I'd like to build the war banners here. So they'll act as a defensive block here. Commander should at least handle those without trouble.
please, no more kicking. We're just gonna make it nice and strong. Time to build stuff.
It now belongs to the Orks.
Please, no more kicking. Alright.
I'm gonna need more requisition points before I can start any kind of an attack.
On our way.
No, no, no.
Boss, who is getting shot up?
Yes, we is. I'm trying to focus on units.
Yes,
Simply because I don't want to keep stretching skirmish missions.
Now belongs to the Orks. Yeah? What is it?
what now? Alright.
We're not gonna need too much energy if we manage to start attacking fairly quickly.
On our way.
2 leaders and a couple of infantry squads should be able to take care of business. Shoot the boys. They can handle the melee part. Shoot the boys can have a handle the cover part. They're that way we are not gonna be constantly harassed by small infantry units. We can let the leaders focus on destroying buildings and such. I do need some kind of upgrade building. That probably seal the deal. I'll get the unit armor and heavier damage on the shooter boys.
Job's done good, boss. What? We'll make it okay. Oh, hey, boss. Green is best.
Green is best.
You need something fixed? Send me to the fight.
Waiting for the pile of guns. Gonna need a couple of upgrades at least from here. Heavier armor and more damage. Melee doesn't really matter. Now let's just go.
I wanna get stuck in with the boys.
Let's go. We don't exactly have a massive army here or anything, but it might be enough. If they have any kind of tank units though, we're fucked. There's no way we can beat them.
I'll show 'em a trick or two. What is it? Yeah. What do you want?
Don't go there.
I'll show 'em a trick or two. We'll clobber the whole lot of them. This is gonna be a squeak feast. What do you want? It now belongs to the Orks. We'll clobber the whole lot of them. Up yours. Nothing can stand in my way.
As well, use this time to upgrade though.
Who's there?
I wanna get stuck in with the boys.
Yeah, this is no good.
Boy, they do some crushing. I'll lead, Orks follow.
We shouldn't get stuck on focusing on these units.
I'll show
We need to find their stronghold before they get to develop it too much further. Once they start to have vehicles, it's this type of unit, basically collection we have now, is not going to be able to get rid of them anymore.
What? If you say so.
They have an anti-tank turret, I don't give a shit about it.
On the big boss. This is gonna be a squeak feast.
Once all their strongholds have been destroyed, ooh, that has to go.
Be a squeak feast.
Is producing vehicles.
Up yours. Orks is meant for fighting and winning.
Yeah, this is pretty ugly, but what else can we do? The commander units are much better at handling this than the normal infantry is. Just need to make sure they can't make another one.
What now?
Might as well build a few war banners. There's a good chance. There's always a chance we might have to fight here another
Nice and
time.
strong.
So a couple of extra war banners at that point would help quite a bit. If we lose the commander, it's not much of a loss. We can buy him back to this mission. So nothing really to worry about. And considering the slow rate of regeneration, it might be better to just have it killed and buy it back than trying to desperately heal all that health. They could have another stronghold somewhere, but this was a fairly weak enemy, like a strength of 1, which is the weakest possible, so I don't think they have anything extra. The AI is probably also fairly dumb, so he's not going to try to build additional strongholds to save his ass. More competent AI would probably do that. It also depends on who you're playing against. I mean, which faction. 1 war gear awarded for 1 conquest. War gear from, 3 to 1 kill ratio, 1 conquest 5, 15 conquests, 2000 kills, 5000 kills, 3 defeated enemies, 1 defense, 3 defenses, 5 defense. I'll take the boss poll, because the orc population increase is basically what unlocks our units and technology advances, so it's such an important thing. With this, I think we have a little bit extra every time we just start. Not really improving our boss in any way, but it buffs the entire army. They didn't do much. Yeah, I think I'll try to take this. It should be another easy fight, and with that, we are in a position to assault the enemy stronghold. By the heavy storm boy squad. It's at least it's a fairly fast capture unit at the start of the game. It's not all that great on its own, but every little thing helps. Heavy shooter boy squad. We can also buy reinforcements on our own regions. Units to start the mission with. I don't particularly want to waste my few requisition points here to reinforce these places. I think not Eldar, but Necrons are the only ones. No. How are the only ones who could attack us? They have this spaceport. Allows them to attack every stronghold region, no matter if they have a connecting region there or not. But I'm not sure if he's going to really even take advantage of that. Don't care. Rayan Jungle, another larger region and another skirmish map. So I'll finish that. I'll probably leave the stronghold for another time. Because they are story based missions, they tend to be larger and basically fairly large map filled with a lot of things to do. filled with enemies, so there you can't breeze through that quickly unless you know exactly what the mission needs you to do and pretty much have a solid understanding of what the enemy has. So it's gonna take a longer time for us to get through it. They're also good places to get a lot of kills, so mainly because Chaos has a trash mob unit, Chaos Cultists, so they're gonna throw quite a lot of those our way when we attack the stronghold. Skilled combatant enemy likely consists of basic infantry, has a single base, so basically the same thing on a larger map, very likely. We need about 3-4 OK units before we can start pushing toward their HQ right from the start.
Orks is the biggest and the strongest.
Which way?
You say so. Okay, we have 35 Orc population from the start.
Nice and strong. Time to build stuff.
I wanna get stuck in with the boys.
I just need to check which area the other guy is. Once we have it located, we can trap him there, get a few extra troops to come and aid in the attack.
Where's the fighting? Orks is meant for fighting. Where's the fighting? Wake up, boys! Get stuck in with the boys.
I'm betting everything on being able to end this
Oh, hey,
quickly.
boss. What do you want? Orks is meant for fighting.
Just need to locate some switches. They're in one of these. Excellent, they're in here.
Send me to the fight. First to bring his best. What is it? Where's the fighting?
Come on, come on.
Where's the fighting?
Our group is pretty shitty, but the enemy doesn't have an honor guard and hasn't had time to really reinforce his position anyway. So I think we might have enough force to just play him out.
Where's the fighting? First to fight. Stone boys is ready for a fight. Ready for stomping? Orks is the biggest and the strongest. Send me
We don't need to capture that, we need to just deny the enemy that. They don't have the resources here to do much.
For a war, sod off. They shooting us. What?
No, we don't exactly have elite troops, but neither do they. They do have a more experienced troop here though. Don't exactly know where they got that. Doesn't matter, it's not gonna be enough. This kind of attack with these 3D units is not gonna work if the enemy is something besides a pretty basic commander with basic infantry. So we might as well take advantage of this now that we can. But this won't work for long. Rushing might work, but you'll have to do it a bit differently. Yeah, I don't care. We're probably taking quite a bit of casualties here. hardly matters. Let's get rid of the stronghold. We're not achieving much. Unupgraded city sluggers are not going to be able to do much. Ooh, they do have Chaos Sorcerer. Well, doesn't particularly matter what they do, it's another victory for us. Ah. Our commander unit is fairly weak too. It should not take this long to destroy a single building. Even though Stronghold is one of the more sturdier ones, it's an unupgraded one. Shouldn't be that hard to take down. One extra honor guard unit. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Charge! We must withdraw. For chaos! Fall back and regroup.
And no one achieved anything. So yeah, I'll end it here. We're gonna play the Chaos out of the fight. Not sure what we're gonna do after that. Go probably after the Fury or the increased manpower. Well, we're going to have to do something about both of these, because if we take that, we're right next to us two strongholds, and we would have to fortify this position very well if we want to counter any attacks they make. So it might be just easier for us to try to at that point quickly end both of them to get a little bit of peace. But it's certainly not something to worry about now. Chaos awaits. And I think it's probably one of the easier stronghold missions anyway. So with it, yeah, it should be a fairly good start for us.